Welcome to the show. Fuck NSU Internet. Okay. Um. There we go. This is the fourth attempt because the internet keeps cutting out. So today we're going to talk to you about philosophy, and we're breaking it into three sections, which are the ancient and medieval, the modern philosophy, and the postmodern philosophy. So we're going to go right into the ancient and medieval, where we talk about certain philosophers. Jared, you want to take it away from there?
Alright, so we got Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. They came after the natural philosophers. They used logic and reason, which kind of separated from them, where the natural philosophers just kind of use the earth, wind, fire, water concept. And then all these guys are just trying to figure out why we're here.
Right. The existence of life, very much. And how the thing that separated uh, Socrates and them was the use of logic to explain the existence of life, as opposed to what the natural philosophers were, which was using naturally what was around them to explain it. So, but yeah, that was very much. I mean, ancient and medieval is the explanation of our existence and how we came to be and how to explain things. So that pushed us into the modern era of philosophy, where we talked about a lot of different philosophers trying to tell us how to experience life.
Descartes, Locke, and Kant were the three main philosophers. Descartes, his main saying was, "I think, therefore I am," and he pretty much said like how your body is separated from the mind, and that they're two very distinct parts of you. Locke, he started a democracy because he wanted to like lead and guide the people in the right direction. And then Kant, no one liked him. He started Romanticism, and then he said that you have to experience it in order to know what it is, which led to him for realism. And then he said that essence and substance are correlated.
Right, and then you could never truly experience things. That's the whole point of he said you would never understand the essence, but then said it existed. So I don't know how something can exist, but then you can never actually grasp the concept of it. So yeah, but a lot of them were trying to explain exactly how you experience life, how you live it. Locke saying you should experience it through democracy. Kant saying it through your through the ways you sense it and through understanding and essence experience. Um, it was all about the way you live your life, very much, and explaining the way you should live your life. I guess that was kind of the philosophy of explanation they used then. Um, so, Corey, you want to take away the postmodernism?
So then we get into postmodernism, and the three biggest people here that we talked about were Kierkegaard, Marx, and Darwin. And Kierkegaard comes right after Kant, and he says that existence precedes essence, and that things are based off of human experience. Then comes Marx, who was the student of Hegel, and Hegel gave us progress. That was his whole thing, but Marx turns that upside down. Marx comes up with communism and basically says that the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, there will be a struggle between the two of them, and the proletariat are these low class workers who will enjoy the fruits of their labors, and the bourgeoisie are the wealthy upper class that have this monopoly over everything, and that they need to or that the proletariat need to rebel and have some sort of revolution against them and create a more equal society with communism. And then we get Darwin and the theory of evolution that comes from him, and this is like the whole religious right argument and Protestant fundamentalists, and this is what the Bible says versus what science says, and yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of postmodernism is trying to explain everybody's understanding of truth, what the actual truth was. And so when we look at all three of them together, it's really interesting the way they their understanding of reasoning, basically going through each of these and each philosophy in ways they shifted. So before was explaining why we're here, how we experience things in the modernism and then postmodernism. What is truth? What is the actual? What should we listen to? Which one of these should we listen to? What should we understand? So that kind of flows, brings everything together, and right there, that I think is a good general idea of what our group understands as the history of philosophy as we learn through Sophie's World and the letters in the entire book, and bring them together into more of a holistic idea. There's a lot more examples we could have brought out, but we brought out some really important ones that stuck in our minds. So, now brings us into some of our bigger discussion pieces, which will be one of the two takeaways from the class. So, Corey, you want to start us off? What did you take away from this class?
What I took away, basically, like, the whole existentialism argument with existence precedes essence, that we really don't, we don't understand our existence truly. I don't think anybody truly understands our existence, probably. I think that's what, like, Kierkegaard would probably argue also, is that all this existence precedes any sort of essence, like on Earth, the existence of the chair, the fact that chair exists precedes any, the definition of a chair. I know it's a chair because it exists as that. And so I took out that, and then basically the other thing that I took out was just this general history of philosophy and, like, the difference between the ancient thought, the modern thought, and postmodernism. I didn't really realize that there were the three different, like, segments of it before this class.
So yeah, you took out quite a bit of just like pretty much knowledge of philosophy. I kind of took out a lot of what Corey took out too. Is one of the biggest things that I took out of the entire class was just understanding philosophy in general. Like, I always knew it was class. I never really understood what philosophy was. Like, I touched on it in some classes a little bit, but I've never truly understood what it was. And a lot of that I've kind of come to realize is a lot about understanding and explaining things, explaining life and understanding life. And the interesting things, like I said, I could say a lot of what Corey said too, but just at a more broad sense, I think that's the biggest thing that I took that's been answered for me once I took this class. That I knew zero concept of what that was. Another huge thing that I took away from this class was being able to critically analyze a video at something other than face value, because I had no idea what the F some of those videos were talking about, because I was trying, and at the end I finally got ink, because I think I gave up that whole idea that I'm watching, when they say this and do this, it literally means they said this and did this, not that it symbolized something more. I didn't realize it was in the video, something more, something different. I had no idea or had any grasp on a lot of those ideas. And taking this class, I definitely was able to, by the end at least, critically analyze and look at these videos and think of them more symbolically and the more, I don't know, bigger essence of a bigger understanding of what the videos meant, what they're trying to, the arguments they're trying to get across without actually stating them. So.
Question for you two.
Yeah.
How would it have been different if you would have taken philosophy?
How would it have been different?
Yeah.
I would still probably watch some of Watson's videos because he's suggesting to debate us all the time, and take them at face value and just have like very little concept of any idea what's going on. If I would have watched 10 drums for the first time, I wouldn't have been thinking about my phenomenology to experiencing it at all. I would have just been like, this is disgusting. I don't want to watch it, other than it's kind of funny to This is gross. Ew. I don't know. What do you think? I think I would have just.
I think
continued.
probably like I would have had that basic understanding of philosophy, but I wouldn't know the history behind any of it or like all these different like schools of thought that there is. It's just like I would have just basically understood that philosophy exists, but I don't know what it is. Now I have the understanding of what the difference between Kant and Kierkegaard is, and like Locke and Descartes and all.
Yeah, I think it definitely changed. But I don't think. And I'm not saying like I came out of here and I'm just so much more diversely knowledgeable, and like I am not a lot more knowledgeable on this stuff. But I think the way that I look at things has changed because of this course. It made me look at things a little different, understand. And I'll get into that a little bit with our final question. So, kick it over to Jared.
Well, one of the things I really took away from is just kind of how I think about things. Like, just listening to philosophies and you don't know which one is any of it. Right? Well, you know what I mean? But
right.
It's
postmodernism. You don't know which one's the real truth.
But what I really took away was existence precedes essence. Like I feel like that's very true. Like you go through your life and then you define yourself through your existence. Not already made up for you. And yeah, I don't know. Just I think this course has like benefited me because my first philosophy course, and I feel like it really opened up my mind just to how to do things different. Yeah, just think about it.
Yeah, maybe keep a more open mind or something. Yeah. I think I definitely agree with that because in taking this course, it kind of challenges you to, because I didn't realize that I had a philosophy until I came to this course, and I feel like I kind of do have a philosophy in the way I understand and want to see things. And it made me challenge that and question, like, okay, now I've seen other people's philosophy, and even if I still stick with mine, I now can understand how the other people view the world and stuff. I think that's definitely a big one. And we saved Lene for last because she's that good one for you lots.
Well, you guys went way more in depth than what I was planning on going into. But like my first one was never repeat the same story over and over. And ever since we watched the movie, like that just has me thinking of like how annoying I can get. You tell people the same thing, or like and how like they might get sick of it.
That was interesting.
But then like it made me think it's like that's really not who I am. Like I don't want to be that annoying person because usually I'm the person that doesn't say anything unless I'm like, spoken to directly. So it makes me like realize how annoying I can get. And then like you being that annoying person, it like can actually change who you are.
How you met yourself.
Yeah. And it's like it's not who I am to go out and just like ramble. But then it makes me realize like my closer friends, like ones that I don't shut up around, like I repeatedly say the same thing and they probably think I'm crazy.
Right.
And my other one was never gonna take a philosophy course again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Simply because like when you were talking I understood what you were saying, but it was like way over my head.
Who, me or what?
What?
Like
Well, you're kind of the same way too. That's what debate is. But like I understand parts of it and I can take stuff away from it, but it's like when you first jump into something like this, when you're not really used to learning about all the people in the past. Like you had your history classes when you learn about those kind of people, but just to like jump into this and like all these people are thrown at you and like it still floors me how like people didn't think it's an actual chair. Or, like this is not a table, but like, it's a table to me.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a table no matter what.
Right. So it was just.
So like when Walk would be like, "Oh, is this actually a table?" And she's like, "Yes, it's a table. It's not gonna change."
So.
It's just way over my head.
Just kind of, but that's why you wouldn't take it because it's over your head. Because it sounds like you do understand it now, or at least have a better
have a better understanding
of it.
I do, but I don't think I would take another one just because like I felt so overwhelmed from this class. Like I would leave and I feel like I had like my head was a balloon, and then it just
I think
died.
this kind of leads us into our biggest discussion point, which we saved for last. And we picked Lene to do this question last because it leads us into the last question, which is what?
Is philosophy a worthwhile study?
Is philosophy a worthwhile study? And I knew she had that as one of the things she took away from the class.
Well, if you ever want to get a job, no. Philosophy.
So you say
It's
no.
good enough to take a class about it, but I don't think that I would ever like try to like get a major in like anything.
Well, yeah, but is it a worthwhile? Do you think it's an important class to learn?
I think it's important. It's an important class to learn because it obviously like opens up your eyes to like what other people may think about the world and how other people will see the world. Like somebody could be the follower of Kant and someone else could be a follower of Descartes. And if you understand philosophy, you understand everything that they are talking about and everything that they understand. And like studying like Darwin, you'd be able to study or talk to someone who's an evolutionist and like understand what they're talking about, or like a Marxist or someone like that. It opens up um your views to other people's views in the end.
All right, I want to go back to Lene because I want to grill her on it. So, is it a worthwhile class?
Okay, I personally think I would be fine if I never would have taken the course.
If you never took the course?
Yes.
So, why?
Because I don't think it's a necessity.
Okay, but that's not the question. Is it worthwhile?
It's not worthwhile for me.
Yeah, I just need a little bit more evidence. That's all I'm asking.
Oh my
The debater in me. Explain to me.
No debater.
Explain to me.
Okay, go to someone else.
All right, we'll ask Jared. What do you think? Is it a worthwhile class? And then we're going to go right back to the name because I'm really impressed with that.
Worthwhile class.
So we're all against you. So you're going to have the burden of proof today. Prove to us. All right, why, Jared?
All right. So I think it's worthwhile just because it makes you think more in depth than you normally would about everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like just doing that itself would make you just more open to things and probably be more of an intelligent person if you just sat down and thought about what you're actually doing. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of fun to just see how different philosophies can play out in your life. You know, apply that to your life. I kind of like doing that, and I would definitely recommend taking a philosophy class at least once.
I'm going to say it's worthwhile, and I'm going to give you an explanation that kind of counteracts what you said. No. Is it on still? Oh, it's still recording us. Okay, sorry, watch. It went black. So back to this fun debate. Here's why I think it's worthwhile. Maybe it'll help you come up with the reasons why I think you don't think it's worthwhile. So the reason I think it's worthwhile is even if you didn't like the class, even if you didn't necessarily grasp everything, there was some things that I grasped. So there was a lot of things that went way over my head as well. But I didn't even realize that I had my own philosophy on life. I didn't realize that I had a lot of like my ideas of my worldview, my philosophy. I didn't realize I even had those. It was a concept that I didn't even want to think about. And then taking this class, I've realized, okay, they pressed me to think about these ideas and pressed me to question it and maybe try to strengthen my own thoughts on my idea, or maybe change it because maybe I've realized something. And I think my philosophy on life since taking this course has changed because it pressured me to think like I don't really have any reasons for believing my view on the world. And it leads back to the question, I think, really, that would you want to be a stick in the mud or a pig in the mud, or would you want to experience life? The whole Socrates thing, I know much more than everybody else, because I know that there's so much in the world that I don't know. So, while you didn't know a lot of the philosophy, there were some things that you did know. Did that make you a better person? Does that make you better off?
It makes me more confused.
Makes you more confused. Why is it making you more confused? I think that's a good answer. Understand it.
Because it's like you learn about so much in one day
Mm-hmm.
that, like, what if you don't even remember everything?
Well, I think there's a lot you don't remember. You probably like a lot of names and stuff, but a lot of.
But it's okay. So if you don't know the idea of someone, like matching with the name, then what good does it do you?
But you understand the general concept of the idea, don't you?
Okay.
What's
If
more?
If someone would come up to me and be like, "I'm a Darwinist," and be like, "Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about."
What's more important, understanding what Darwinist is or knowing the name of Darwinist? Because then if you say, I don't know what you're talking about, explain it. No, if you say, explain it to me, then you're like, oh, I've learned about that. I understand you. I didn't remember that was the name. You don't care? So you don't care about anybody else except your own thoughts.
Well, not like people that are however many years old.
So you said you just didn't care about anybody who had the idea of Darwin.
The way I view the class is just taking a bunch of other people's ideas on how to live a good life, basically, and just kind of mash them all together, kind of create.
Right.
Kind of how I think it.
You created your own philosophy throughout taking it.
Just kind of take a little from each, you know.
Mm-hmm. So, what is your standpoint? I mean, understanding. Yes, it was confusing, but just because it's thought the class is confusing doesn't mean it's not worthwhile. Right?
I don't know.
Some people, American Government 101 is confusing. But I think it's pretty worthwhile this class to take.
What I was talking about before, I'm still stuck up on like the whole like chair thing. Like, why would someone not think that it's a chair? Or not why is it like I don't understand it, so I don't like I feel like if there's things you don't understand, then how can it be worthwhile for you if you're just really confused?
So there's things that you don't understand. And this class has taught you that there's things that you don't understand, right?
Yeah.
So in a sense, you've learned that there's a lot that you don't understand. So would you not say that you were smarter in leaving this class? And being smarter would be worthwhile, wouldn't it?
But how am I smarter if I'm leaving more confused?
You're okay. Are you confused or do you not are you realizing there's a lot that you don't understand?
I'm confused. Like, why would someone not think that it's a chair? Or why is it not a table? Like, I don't understand how someone's like, oh, this is not, like, can't be a chair.
Right, that's a confusing thought, but you've always been grown up told that was a chair, right?
Yeah.
So why would you ever have any reason? Right. You've always been grown up told that this sitting on this chair. So why would you have any reason not to do so, right? Now these people, when they were taught something, they weren't when they're thinking about it, they were not thinking about, oh, that's what I've always learned. They're thinking about, well, what if I was taught wrong? What if my existence is wrong? But what I'm trying to say is, you say you're left more confused because there was a lot of stuff you didn't understand. But that goes back to Socrates' whole idea that I'm so much smarter than everyone else because I understand that there's a lot that I don't know. So wouldn't you say that when you left this class?
I suppose.
You suppose? Don't concede. Come on, argue me.
Just beat me up.
No, I'm trying to understand you because I think you have a good standpoint, and it's there. I want to hear more explanation on it.
What if philosophy could potentially like harm someone?
Yeah,
because
sure.
you hear all of like these people's ideas, but like, what if it actually like hurt someone at the end?
Hitler had a philosophy, and people believed his philosophy.
Look how crazy he was.
Yeah, like people.
All these philosophers are crazy.
People believed his philosophy and followed it. Yeah, but wouldn't you say you could learn a lot about other things that would be very harmful to you? What if you learned about a lot about?
What if there's a different class that I would learn a lot about?
But each class is going to teach you a certain kind of philosophy. Did you ever realize that before you took this class?
No.
essentially philosophy. Would you say that philosophy is unavoidable?
No.
Not so.
Wait, read more of that.
Okay. Would you say that philosophy is something you can avoid?
No.
You cannot avoid it.
Correct.
So, if you cannot avoid it, wouldn't you say
But
it's
what if I just
important
want
to
to think
learn?
my own thoughts? But I'm not.
You
It's not
can-
like I'm into
This
myself.
hasn't.
But like,
Yeah, I know, but this class hasn't told you can't think your own thoughts, has it? It's just told you some other people's thoughts. And
But
you,
if
you,
you come into
and
it
you,
blind.
and you yourself have said that when I learned about the how am I not myself, I believe that was your first thing.
Maybe.
It was your first thing that you took away from this class. You yourself said it changed the way you looked at some of the stories you tell, right?
Yeah.
So you're not just so.
But what if I'm harming
so you-
myself thinking about that now? Like if
right now you're using philosophy. What if I'm harming myself?
ever.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You're using philosophy to explain some life. So would you agree or I mean, you guys can jump in here too. What do you think? I don't know.
I think you're just beating a dead horse at this point, to be honest.
Okay, fine. Well, I don't want to drop the entire argument.
No,
I think
yeah.
she's finally kind of come to an understanding of my point.
I was. But you do make really valid points.
Yeah. So.
But I still, if I like actually knew what philosophy was, I don't know if I would have actually taken it.
If
I didn't just have to, because I had to take it. So.
Right. Well, that's fine. Fair enough. What do you think, Jared? Yeah. Why was it? I mean, you created a philosophy out of it. Did you?
I don't know. I
Did
guess
you,
I've
so
always,
would you say that you changed your philosophy from before?
I just have more of an open view on things.
Well,
Like I tend to like refer back to other people's philosophy. Just kind of play with the ideas a little bit.
You take a little bit of everybody's kind of create your
Yeah.
own. So do you think it kind of opened your eyes up to some other people's philosophies? And, I think that's what it did for me too. I didn't know a lot of philosophy or other philosophies. And Corey, you still pretty much have a really good heart on for philosophy or what?
I guess so. I mean, it does open up your eyes to how other people see the world. Like, I'm sure all four of us see it differently than each other, but and it like allows you to see that everybody has different worldviews and different philosophies to judge the world on.
So I guess when we look at it as a whole, it's about to go black again. When we look at philosophy as a whole, when we examine this entire class, even if we don't agree that it's worthwhile, I think there's something we can all agree on, and it's that we've taken away something out of it, even if it's a little thing. We've taken something out of it. Whether it be I've learned that there's a lot that I don't know. Just almost like a quote of Socrates. Or you've created your own philosophy, or opening your mind up to some other people's ideas and understanding them, or in my case, even grasping a concept of philosophy at all. But I had no idea anything. I had zero idea what I was talking about.
Oh, another thing I like, no test.
No test.
No
Yeah.
test.
That was nice.
And no papers.
No papers. This is paper right
I'm
now.
still confused if we're supposed to be doing this with paper or video podcast. I don't know if everybody else is, but that confused me a lot.
But I think that this group has definitely progressed a little bit, even if it wasn't totally worthwhile. Even if it wasn't worthwhile, even though we've kind of proven that she thinks it is deep down. We've all progressed and we've become, I think, better students. Even if everything considered, I think we've learned something. We've taken something out of the course, and I think we can apply it to the rest of our courses and hopefully the rest of our lives. So that's it. That's our final. That's one final out of the way. Here you go. I don't know about that. Who cares? Corey is a hardcore Marxian.